Hello and welcome to a little coffee chat with me. My name is Zoe and joined by my mom.
And my name is Cammie.
And we are going to talk about the year of 2025, which was the year of the snake, and the transition into 2026, the year of the horse, and kind of our experiences in the
Yes.
the 2025 shedding of the skin.
All kinds of things. Yeah.
And moving on to what we might be manifesting, calling in, and looking forward to in the new year. And just overall, all the interesting things that we discovered about ourselves.
Yep.
So let's jump into it.
"2025, I think, felt like it started out okay. But then it got real crazy really fast for us.
For me, the start of 2025 in January, I was doing my first world travels adventure. So I was actually over in Asia, in Thailand,
Right.
in January to February, and exploring and experiencing different cultures where I would get to meet all sorts of incredible people and different spirituality and just a whole new way of life that I believe everyone should get to experience, because you experience the beauty of something that looks entirely different from everything that you were taught beauty exists in.
Yeah.
And so it allows you to question everything and just learn to love so much more, learn to let go of so much more. So just that little brief travel was already such a shedding for me. It's because the world functions different depending on where you are, the context of what's around you. And so really just being that fluid to kind of adjust with where you are and learn what works best for you as your unique self.
I think it just broadens your mind so much, because people don't grow up like us. There's other people in the world that think differently and look differently and do their day differently, and so it's so great to go into those places and to actually experience another culture and get to realize that even though we're all human, we are all very different, and that's a good thing, actually.
And even realizing how narrow your worldview might be.
Yeah.
I had this idea that the world was what I grew up in, and so I would communicate to people as if I'm changing and the world is staying the same, because the world was this thing that I was leaving. And I was like, oh, my background is also my uniqueness. Everyone else has a different background. It's not like I'm getting further away from a universal experience. It's that's just more of my uniqueness.
That is funny, because I knew I grew up in a little small bubble, and to even get outside of that bubble was just moving to a different state. For me, and then being able to travel, different places in the world in the last, several years for me has really opened up, your mind to be able to see all the different cultures and see different people in different lights than maybe you had been taught. In life, if you have not experienced something yourself, then it's really hard to have an opinion. I mean, you can have an opinion about it, but your opinion doesn't hold much weight if you've never experienced that culture, or if you've never had a relationship with somebody from a different culture and realize that there's so much nuance and differences in the world that we can't possibly know what someone else has gone through and know how they feel and how they think and all of that. We can only know similar things. But so I think it's helped us in our family to learn not to judge so harshly and to learn to open up, and everybody has a story. Right? So learning different cultures and learning, different people and all of that, you get to learn that we are all so different, but we're all so unique and so special. And it's a blessing to actually get to go to a different country and be in their culture and see how they operate day to day.
When you really listen and pay attention to the impact of what you're thinking or assuming or deciding or doing, then you learn way more than if you just only look at your intentions going into it.
I remember years ago, I heard somebody talk about how they could even learn from a child. And that's such an important thing to know, that the packaging isn't what's important. It's the message. So the message could come through anything. It could come through a person. It could come through nature. It could come through the universe, whatever you want to say. But when we judge the package before we get the message, we actually miss out. And so being very open to wherever the message is coming from and whatever way it's trying to reach us, and being open to it.
And then it's really cool because you get all the unique wonderfulness about the package it came in.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
that
Yes.
thought
That
you
is
didn't
awesome.
like. And then you're
Yeah.
like, wow, look at all these new layers that I just shed, like the skin of a
Well, that has a
snake.
lot to do with manifesting as well. Sometimes when we manifest, we 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 need to avoid manifesting that it has to look a certain way, right? Because it often comes differently than what we think it's going to. So an important concept in manifesting is not being tied to how that comes. Still manifesting the end result, but being open to the ways in which we might receive it.
We want something because of the feeling it'll give us. But if we
Right.
stay with that feeling and then let the universe work out the how, use least resistance based on our belief systems and everything else, and let it be spontaneous, let it happen in a way we could have never pictured, then things flow in way easier.
Yeah. We had actually manifested, me and my husband and our girlfriend, manifested being on a reality TV show. I had no idea what that looks like. Did not think that could ever happen in my life, but I started talking about it. And I started responding to people like, this is going to happen someday. And I started to feel what it would feel like to be on a reality TV show. And it happened. Like, it was so crazy. So we'll tell you the story in a bit.
They used to always just say, oh, if people only followed us around with cameras, we
Yep.
would be so famous.
Yep.
We'd make millions of dollars. And it was just something they'd laugh about every day, knowing wholeheartedly it was true. Like, they are so
we're like,
entertaining. Never
something would
done
happen.
it.
We'd all be laughing. And we're like, see, we should have had a camera right here. And we would talk about that all year. And then it did happen.
I ended up getting out of a relationship at the very beginning of the year and moving back into my parents' house. And so that was a big shift and adjustment, but it felt really right. It felt like something that was the right time, the right place, because they had so much going on in their life.
Yes.
There was a lot of movement going on.
A lot of
so I was
movement
like,
happened.
if I can provide some sort of help or stability or just connection during the shaky times, like, I wanted to be there for it. And then, boy, did it just roll one after the other.
It did all year long. So we found out that we were going to be on a reality TV show, and several things shed for me. Like, I ended up losing my job because of it, because I agreed to go on a reality TV show. My husband had been out of work for a year, and he got a job in the early part of 2025, which was nice. So that allowed me to be home and allowed for the whole show to happen. But with that came shedding of friendships, shedding of some relationships, closer relationships that we had. We got to find out who our real supporters and friends were and who were not. The saddest part was that people don't really ask questions. They just judge. Again, the judging thing, where instead of like, hey, let me learn and grow and let me know more about this, there was just a lot of walls.
Is when you judge before getting curious, you are already deciding that the meaning you have is the only meaning that could ever be. Like, there can't be any beauty in that because the meaning you have is that is bad or scary.
Yeah.
And then once again, you're closing off the world to different possibilities that could be invited into your life. And so it was possible for beauty to exist somewhere and not somewhere else. And just because your experience maybe was negative in one place, if you apply that everywhere, then you'll never experience the beauty that could be possible. Right.
And just recently we read about 2025 was the year of the snake, which is a lot about shedding, old stuff so that you can grow. And
can we talk about the process of being on a reality TV show and all that you have to confront in yourself just to exist and survive and live presently in that moment? Yes, that was, I mean, for me, that was a huge blessing, but that was super hard. So when you start to film for a show, it will be public and it will all be out there, and you have to actually own yourself, which I don't think in the past. Paint a picture of 12-hour days.
Yes.
5 days of
5 days in a row, 12-hour days of filming.
A whole crew
of people in our house.
Following you, around you, talking to you when you're not in front of the camera, being totally recorded with everything you do. You're still being observed, being witnessed, and it is your real life. I mean, there's a lot that editing can do.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you have no idea. There's a lot of containers a show will set up that wants to bring in some real events, but into more of a condensed time frame.
Yeah.
But again, there's so much of your life that is just put
on blast. Yeah. Which is scary, and it can be very unsettling a little bit until you own who you are. And I guess we've had a really, really big value for authenticity. So for us, it was very much a work in being very authentic and owning who we are. And so that process was...
Like, you probably won't hear us blaming, like, everything is so wrong, everything is not even close. It's like, if some part of me looked that way to someone, it looked that way to someone, and I can't control it, you know?
And if they manipulated stuff to make it look like that, that's what they did, and that's okay. Like, I mean, we have gotten to the place where we have owned who we are, and whatever the outcome is, it's reality TV, it's going to be entertaining, it's going to be fun, it's going to propel us wherever we're supposed to be going.
It's not like there's moments to think, okay, what do I want to say right here in this moment that perfectly announces who I am? I remember my first interview. I came back like, oh no. Because I went into it so confident that, like, I have so many passions. I have so many things to share with the world. I've got this. Like, it's all written out in these perfect words in my head. And then they start asking the questions. And afterwards, I'm like, did I say anything that I believed in that moment? Like, did I say anything I care about? I don't know at all. And so it's like that pressure moment of
it's almost like public speaking, like getting up on a stage and then having to talk to all these people, and all of a sudden your mind goes blank. So there are those moments.
And it helps you release the idea that anything is going to look like the vision that you have in your head. Like, it helps you realize, oh, I just have to jump into something, and it's gonna at least land in the ground and create something from the ground, rather than if it stayed in my head, there'd be nothing here in reality to work with. But it's not gonna look like the version in my head, especially right away or in that moment. And so I tend to not try to build things up anymore and just trust whatever happens and whatever flows
is
through
what's
me.
supposed to happen.
Because when I build something up, I'm like, oh, I am just preparing myself for some major disappointment right now. This all looks grand and pretty, but I either get to enjoy the process of what this turns into without judging or shaming myself, or I get to just trust that, like, whatever's alive here and now is the real me. So it's not about, oh, that's not an accurate representation of me because it doesn't look like the fantasy in my head. It's like, the only me is here and now all the time. That's what other people can experience. And so if that was a version of me then, we're people constantly growing and changing every moment. Sometimes I look at myself a month ago and I think, that is not the same human, not even close. I'm a whole new person. And I think that about myself very often. I feel like I'm reinventing and relearning and unlearning so much. I love the idea that is a clip in a moment captured in time of our life. Knowing that it's not a limitation of who we are, because expansion is always happening. But it is a little documentation of what we experienced.
And for me, the process, I think, was more important than what the outcome's going to be. I honestly think that. Like, the process for me was shedding a lot of shame and owning who I am. Say whether the show is great or horrible or whatever, I went through the process of owning myself and getting rid of shame. And that was worth it just for that. So if nothing else comes from it, it was worth it for that. You know, we have big plans, but anyway, even if that's the only thing, I'm very grateful.
The bonding that we did, knowing that we were in a tornado. Like, there was no getting out of it. It's like, there are GoPros in our cars. We can't leave our cars. There is, everything is here now. And
people
there's no
in
escape.
Our face all day long.
I don't know that I've ever experienced a no escape option before. I think everyone should go through that because you gain a resilience that is so worth it to have it. Because I think one of my ways of comforting myself, self-soothing is like, okay, I can just like disappear for a little bit and work on myself, be like, okay, what do I need to feel right now? What do I need to go? And in this moment where I'm like, I can't just go escape somewhere. I can't
there was no escaping.
So visibility is also something that it holds you accountable, but it also lets you release so much shame, because there's no other option.
Yeah.
It's like I'm either gonna be here and be miserable, or I'm gonna be like,
Make
okay,
the
I'm
best
human,
of it, and I'm human,
and I'm here, and
I'm
like
here. Yep.
there's so much more power just to being here.
Yeah.
In all of your messiness.
Yes.
Than being absent or perfect.
Right. And that was the authenticity that we learned. We learned how to be so authentic. And what was super cool is even the crew that was here filming us, we got so close to them, and they got to see how authentic we were, and we really bonded with them. It was really great.
Cried with them.
Yep.
Hugged them.
Yep. We cried with
we
them.
didn't realize how much of our own lives was actually going to unfold to the point
process.
that they had felt bad for us. That
there was it's just a lot. It's just a lot.
And so in this moment where I'm experiencing devastation,
yes,
and I don't know what to do, I'm crying and I'm looking at this producer like, will you hold me? Will someone and everyone's looking around like, we don't know, we weren't trained for this.
It was so, I mean, now it's so
we
funny.
Tease him.
Now
we
it's
tease
so
him
funny
because he says in that moment, he's like, I didn't know if I was the bad guy and I should just let you be mad at me, or if I was supposed to go
if I was the good guy, and I was supposed to, it was just so funny. It's so funny now.
So we joke about it because I'm like, I just needed a hug.
Yep.
Just one hug, but they really were great, and they did everything that they could to be supporters for us.
They were great. Yeah, it was awesome. There was a lot of relationships and different things that changed during that whole process. And so for me, the rest of the year was a lot of working through just trauma and different stuff that I had never worked through before within relationships and different stuff. And so it was a rough ending of the year for me. Christmas itself was very quiet. I spent most of it solo, but which was good. Taking care of myself and, making sure that I'm good. But that was a lot of shedding too. It was a lot of shedding of getting rid of, things that I don't need to carry anymore. We have a very crazy past, grew up in a very cultish environment, lost a son. Like, there's just a lot in all that, moved away from our whole family, started over in a new city, a new town. Years ago, this all happened, and just stuff that I had never been able to process. And now it's all wanting to be processed and wanting to be released. So that was a lot of 2025 for me.
She's a Scorpio, so the shedding the skin and the year of the snake is kind of a life theme for her.
Yeah.
So she's been through this many times.
Many times. But this year felt particularly potent. Yes.
Just some more things that I've been shedding is even however I might identify myself in one moment, instead of letting my identity be super fluid based on the desires I have. So I think there was a lot of shedding, filtering my desires by what's expected of me, and letting my desire teach me what filters would support it, and and letting myself practice. I have a friend group, and for a while I was kind of baby of the friend group. Like, that was just kind of how I was looked at, and I loved it because I'm like, yes, I love experiencing new things and doing new stuff and being the youngest child.
Not having to be responsible for a lot of it.
And this year, going to all the music festivals I went to and different things, I was probably the most responsible, thoughtful person taking care of everyone. And so they were like, Zoe, we need to graduate you to friend group mom. Like, you.
That's funny.
And I'm like, I've also been the DD for all of my friends for all the different events that we do. And it's just so interesting to see such a new part of myself. And it's not like I think I'm just completely swapping from one thing to the other. I think it's just I'm letting go of the
one role.
The one role aspect of being a human. And I'm now like, whatever the moment calls for, I can bring my own joy and passion and fun into whatever role just needs filled, and I can enjoy the process of filling new roles. And I've let myself realize that I can be anything in any different moment, and I don't have to justify that or explain myself. I just get to show up.
I think that is one of the things that we also learned in 2025 is that we don't have to justify everything. We don't have to, write out this whole big long thing of why we're doing whatever we're doing. We can just be us and be human, and it doesn't need justification.
If I had a different opinion from someone else, I thought that meant I was required to explain why it was okay for me to have a different opinion.
Right.
And so I used to explain it out, and sometimes they'd be like, I don't agree. And I would think that was just more proof that I needed to explain further so that they could tell me it was okay that I disagreed. It wasn't like, or that we had to be on one side. Now I'm just like, everyone gets to think what they think because they think it. And the fact that people don't agree is what makes this world so diverse and unique.
And amazing.
Amazing.
So if we were all the same, it'd be very boring.
And I believe different things on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
Like it supports me and supports those around me one day, and then the next day there's something else that really runs for me.
Which is so good. Like, it's so good to realize that you don't have to lock yourself into something that you feel like you can't ever get out of. That it can be more fluid depending on how you feel that day and what you want that day or what you don't want that day. The
more you grasp to an idea of what needs to be, the less present you can actually be with what feels the most alive in you right now. So moving on to 2026, the year of the horse, it's about stability and consistency that travels far and kind of pioneering new heights and distances.
The show will come out. We'll get to all experience that and see what comes from that, which will be super fun and exciting.
I've been feeling really inspired just with creative projects and making slow movements that are consistent and that outlast maybe whatever my vision is, just so I can put them somewhere and see what the response is and being more visible in that. And so I think the consistency and kind of the resilience of sticking with something, even some routine and some structure, coming from a very free-spirited oh my gosh, one thing I shed was that I thought all structure was just trapping you. And I was like, no, structure is the antithesis of freedom. And boy, did I need to shed that belief, because there is no freedom without structure. There is just a puddle that just continues to spread and spread and spread and not go anywhere.
Right. So like this morning,
putting a channel of the river so that puddle can become a river and actually go somewhere.
Yes,
is a great thing. So I've been excited about the structure I'm adding into my life.
So her dad, my husband, I, and her, we're all trying to get on a structure of exercise or whatever else, and we're all pretty much still in the 2025 releasing stuff, and we're having trouble finding structure. So that is a goal for us this next year, that we will all, get that structure down.
Music and then we just feel and just let it happen. What if we just let it happen?
So we did that today. We put on music. We all did do some form of exercise, which was great, and we all felt better after.
Great in our bodies. It was amazing.
But it was not very structured.
Which
was good.
The structure is just the time frame of we're saying yes.
Yep, we're saying yes.
Because I can't really be someone that's like every step is outlined for me. I'm like, if you give me a container, I want to do my little dance in the container. And so that's kind of how I view structure now. It's like, oh, there would be no dance to be had if there was no container for it. And so it's been helpful.
In structure, there may not be a room for dance.
Yes.
If it's
you
too
have to
strict
balance
of a
it
structure.
for what you need, for what you want to bring into the world, for what you want to experience from life, is balance your flow and your structure so that it can move and go places.
Right. I always had a vision or a goal of I'm writing our story. I'm writing a book about our life, and I always had a vision or dream. It had to be this or it had to be that, and I've been working on it for quite a while and releasing a lot of that. It has morphed probably 6 times. This book, has morphed, and it's been fun to see how it's all coming together now and in the right timing. And it feels like 2026 is going to be the year of the horse, in which this comes out as well. And it just feels like it's all coming together, which I could have never predicted 15 years ago when I first started the book, in very much in pain. And it's written very differently now because I've gotten to work through some of that. So it's not just coming from pain And so just like in that is allowing things their proper time and allowing things to flow when they're meant to flow, and not having that exact, it has to look like this. I'm excited to see what that looks like when it comes out, what it is when it is presented.
A big thing that I want to put on the horse's back as we
Yep.
continue into the new year is learning my own value. I think that's so important for women especially.
Yeah.
Is we kind of look externally for, oh, what makes a woman valuable, and then we want to like shift into those different things and
Right, right.
optimize those different things.
Mhm.
But if it's like, okay, inherently just me, what do I love? What do I naturally just have some sort of gifting for? And it's even things like sharing my thoughts, sharing my processes, talking, and the creativity that flows through me, and connecting with other people, and being an example of freedom or a space of no judgment where other people can shine in their gifts. And so it could be as little as filming a podcast that I'm like, wow, in knowing my own value, I should prioritize the things that really make me shine and let the structure start to cater to and encourage that. And so I think for the year
and
of
the people
horse,
that are meant for it will find it.
absolutely.
You know, we don't have to force it. We don't have to force it into, you know, people that aren't ready for it or don't want that. We get to just present it, and the people who are ready will find it. And that's a cool thing too.
It's there no matter what. It's not something that I'm having to like perform or learn how to give. It's like, this is something that exists in me regardless. But as I begin to share it, knowing my own value, knowing that there's value in just who I am and what I love and what I enjoy doing, then I can like kind of open up. And as I overflow and pour out, it's just the world responds in a way that it exponentially takes off, you know? And so it's so important to know your value and open and be generous with how incredible and amazing you are, and don't forget that the entire world could feed and be nourished just from what makes you special.
Yep. And that can be a hard one sometimes. What you're good at or what you want to do isn't always what everybody around you wants to see or hear or wants to say is okay. And so learning, not everybody's going to love what you do. Not everybody's going to want to hear what you have to say, but the right people will. The ones who are ready for it, the ones who are open for it will hear that, and they will benefit from your gift. I'm very much a challenger, so I do end up often pushing people's buttons without purposely trying to do that. But I find you get both the people who don't want to hear it and the people who do, and you get both of those feedbacks at the same time, which we are also preparing for when the show comes out. We realize that there will be a lot of people who don't like it, and there will be a lot of people who do. And so we're trying to prepare ourselves to not be attached to what people think and the outcome and what people say, you know, being our beautiful, sparkly, wonderful selves.
And our gremlin, grumpy,
our push button selves.
All of it.
All of that.
Embracing all of it.
Yep.
Also, being this one's daughter is a really fun experience because anytime I go anywhere with her, there are people that come up to her. I love your hair. Do you know that you're beautiful? Do you know you belong in Hollywood? Do you know you're a rock star?
That did happen the other day.
Do you see how much you just shine? And it's just like, no matter where we go, if we go in a Winco, if we go anywhere, tens and crowds of people.
Yeah, I'm not discreet. I cannot slide under the radar anywhere. If they don't know me, they know my hair.
I wanted to remind you of the movie that we watched, Dangerous Beauty, which is about the courtesan in Venice.
Right.
And
great show. You should watch
amazing.
that show. It's
Everyone
a great
should
show.
Totally watch it. But she becomes a courtesan, and she never knew that was her lineage. She always thought she would just get married off and everything, but when that opportunity kind of falls away from her, she either gets to become a nun or a courtesan. And
what a choice there.
Her mom takes her to see what a nun's life looks like. She says,
I don't think so.
So then there's this really beautiful moment where the mom is like, man, this takes me back years. I haven't tapped into this part of myself in a long time, but here I will teach you to know pleasure yourself. And then you see the mom's radiance just come on as she's like transmitting to her daughter this this lived experience, and then the daughter just she becomes her own full feminine
and she's
self.
really good at it. Like it's who she is, and she never knew. Yeah.
And so there's a part of that I'm like, when we're out and when we're walking around, I'm like, what can be transmitted to me from this woman who knows herself so well? And I can tell in the parts of me where I'm still questioning, is this okay? Am I allowed to feel this way? Is this something? And then I see my mom that is so, I am this, and this is honest, and this is upfront, and this is who I am. And the response to that is like, the clarity you experience of someone who knows themselves so well, is willing to grow, but isn't ashamed of the lines that are present in what make her who she is something that I'm like kind of tapping into for this year of the horse as well.
And what's interesting though is I can hold both of those dynamics at the same time. Like I can know exactly who I am, but also have those doubts. Like that's just being human. Like for some reason, I've always learned to walk in confidence, even though I have the same doubts everybody else does. But I have just learned, I've been thrown into many things that just have made me, I was thrown into being a chaplain, running a whole chaplain program in a hospital. And I didn't have any schooling for that. All I had was the experience of being in a hospital with our son, who was in hospital for a long time and he passed away, and all those decisions you have to make, all that stuff. And I got thrown into leading a chaplain program. Now, I had major doubts about that, but I just have a personality that I'm able to go, fake it till you make it. Just do it. You can do it. I mean, if you believe in it yourself, you can do it. And it happened. And so I have both of those dynamics in me.
I'm hungry for anyone just willing to start a moment or take the lead or share an idea.
Yes.
You know, we're so reserved from those doubts. We mostly live in those doubts. Like you said, they're always present for everyone. But people are hungry for who's going to break through first. Who's going to say something even though there's no certainty behind where it's going to go. Who's just going to try.
Right. I mean, and that was the show too. We didn't know how it was going to go. We didn't even know what it looked like. We'd never done something like that before. Jumping into stuff and going, I'm going to do the very best I can do. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be human. And however it turns out, it's going to be okay. We're going to use it as either growth. We're going to use it as propelling us forward. We're going to use it as whatever it is that the universe has for us, we're going to accept.
That's definitely something I felt that has been transmitted from you to me, is that whatever happens, it's going to be okay, and I've got me, and the world can think anything of me. And does that change my direct experience of who I am? Only if I let it.
And even during the filming, there was an instance of something happening where we wanted a private moment. And Zoe didn't know that, and she wasn't there for that.
Well, I knew it was a private moment, but I wasn't there for the actual taking off of the mic, so I had just totally forgot I had mine on. So we entered into this moment. We were all thinking we were privately talking
and we
other.
weren't. Which, again, is okay, but in that process, through the whole process of filming and all of that, we learned that whatever happens, and we're going to make the best of it. So I know Zoe felt completely devastated that she still had her mic on and didn't take it off. But in that moment, we were all able to go, it's okay. It's okay. Whatever happens. If they choose to use that, they choose to use that. Like, it was such a good learning moment that you can't go backwards. You can't undo something that happened. And it's nobody's fault, and it doesn't matter. We will make the best of everything. And we did.
Yeah, and you could think the idea of I can't go backwards being this huge pressure, hard feeling. But if you can't go backwards and you can let everything just be a part of what's driving you forward. And you can say, okay, if this happened, was unexpected, but I'm going to let this be a part of my joy. And we did that. The beauty that happens. And so every little moment that we were all unsure about that happened, we're like, let's let this be a part of our manifestation. Let's let this moment be what was needed to bring us steps closer to what's coming for us. And just holding that position allows you to respond to all of life in that way that it almost just brings it about. Because you're responding to life like, you are allowed to be here. Like, you are meant to be here. And when life kind of experiences that from you, you're no longer fighting life. It's no longer something that's happening to you. It's like working with you. And it's a very uniting thing to be like, even the stuff that sucks, you're allowed to be here because you're a part of it. You're a part of this whole experience that is going in a direction that I might not know, but I'm going to be a part of it in the way that I believe in it.
Yeah.
And that's so powerful.
Yeah. And there were amazing moments, and there were moments that did suck. And we chose to make the best of all of it and let it all be what it was going to be.
Discriminate the bad that we see as bad, but then later around we might have a completely different perspective of it because we know more.
Yeah.
And so it's like also knowing that your good and bad judgments are very limited by the perspective of you in that moment.
Yeah.
But maybe look at it from a bird's eye view and you'd have a completely different idea of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of loosening that.
Yeah, I do think that's we learn to
Zoom
step
out.
away, zoom out.
We kept saying that.
Don't be so.
Out. It looks real bad right now, but zoom out.
It'll be okay. It'll all be okay. And it is.
Something
it
that
all
helps
is
me
okay.
is I say, this is grandma lore. When I'm a grandma and I can tell my grandchildren, hey, I was in a reality TV show in my 20s. I'm like, what grandma lore? So that's my helpful zooming out tip is like, when you're a grandma, you're not going to give two shits. You're not going to care
What
at
you did
all
when you were
about.
20?
Yeah, so I'm just like, hey, why not live for the lore, live for the plot, so that when I'm a grandma, I have stories to tell.
Well, I think mine's a little bit different is, I mean, you only get one life to live and you don't know how long. I think with losing a child, it made us look at life differently. Like tomorrow could be your last day. You would never know. Today could be your last day. So live your life now. Don't put everything off to the future because you don't know if you have a future, And so I think we grabbed that by the horns and just said, we're going to live. We're going to live now, and we're going to, because we don't know, if we have tomorrow. Step back, zoom back, and this was
Find
fun.
something you die for and live for it.
Yeah, that's my motto. I have a
because it's
plaque.
easy to die. You only have to do it once.
Yeah.
To live, you have to do it every
single day.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you're passionate enough about to die for, live for it, and that is a moment by moment devotion to yourself and the world.
Yep. Yes, so agree. It actually makes life fun. It's not that there's not hard parts to it, but just loosening your grip on stuff makes life much more stressless.
It allows you to play with life sometimes too, is to say that you can zoom out and this moment can be one of joy, experimentation, exploring,
learning, growing.
even the hard stuff. If you look at it, how can I play
even
with this?
What not to do next time? Any of those things.
Like, if I receive some negativity or judgments, what's a way that I can engage with that can feel lighthearted and invite that, allow that in without responding to it on the same level that it is.
Yeah.
Bringing it up to be like, oh, you can come and play too. Like, we can all play. Thanks for listening to our coffee chats.
Our coffee chats, which we do every day. Every single day we do this.
We don't always film them,
Yeah.
but we're starting that now with the Year of the Horse. We're going to film some more coffee chats because the value's here.
It is.
We
Let us know.
open it up.
Yeah, let us know if you have things that you want us to talk about. But we usually are never lacking in subjects to talk about. So,
but we'll make a list, I guess.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.